Hello everybody and welcome back to a brand new episode of our NASCAR Heat 5 career mode. I hope you're all having a great day. Today we have a standalone Cup Series race from Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's the crown jewel, Coca-Cola 600. As we won it last season with Junior Motorsports, can we do it again in this sixth season? As Chase Elliott, some big news coming into this weekend as he comes in 19th in the standings. Of course, Denny Hamlin's AI does not count. That's a part-time driver in the field for today's race, but it was official. Hendrick Motorsports has released, or well, let's just be blunt about it, they have fired Alan Gustafson as Chase Elliott's crew chief. Finally, I think we all saw it coming with the way this season was going. Hendrick has signed Richard Boswell, who was recently or previously at Richard Childress Racing under Harvick's and Austin Dillon's co-leadership of that team. Hendrick Motorsports has brought him over to crew chief, the 9 starting this weekend. Denny Hamlin in the field this weekend alongside Shane Van Gisbergen, making his first oval start of the sixth season in that colleague number 10 with the Red Bull colors on board here, as we've got the target colors back on for today as we look to repeat what we did last season in winning the Coke 600. Now as we kick off practice, and speaking of all the Chase Elliott talk that we've had lately, here he is in my rear view mirror actually in practice. And of course, Hendrick Motorsports is under pressure to keep Chase Elliott on the team going forward. As we know, he has been, dabbling in the interest of potentially venturing off and following in his father's footsteps in starting his own Cup team, and that is a very real possibility going into next season. But Hendrick Motorsports is making these changes, trying to kind of, convince Chase Elliott to stick around in that number 9, and I think that was the first step, was getting rid of Alan Gustafson, who's had, 3 or 4 terrible calls here recently. So it'll be very interesting to see if Chase Elliott can bounce back, who's still out of the playoffs now. And following today's race, we're basically halfway through the regular season. You don't want to be out of the playoffs, halfway through the regular season. That just puts you in a really high pressure situation, and that 9 team, I think, is going to have a really good opportunity, however, to capitalize today in Charlotte as well. Don't forget, 4 stages in the Coke 600, so a lot of stage points up for grabs here this weekend, as I was overall fairly content with the way the car was in practice, and that felt pretty good going into qualifying now. And we'll go next level racing on board here in qualifying. As always, use my code GOIN25 with the link down below in the description at Next Level Racing's website on sim racing gear. You get a 5% discount on all of your orders here, as we have a goal of a 29.819. Got through 1 and 2 pretty well. We get up to the outside wall down the back straightaway now, and feeling pretty confident as we head down into turn 3. Of course, we know we're not going to put together a great effort, but I think, a top 15 or so I'd be pretty content with as we exit turn 4 down this front straightaway. Now going to the line, it's going to be close to the goal. A 7.99 puts us exactly where I was hoping, in the top 15, exactly in that 15th position. Now up front, who's it going to be? Don't be surprised if you see Larson up there in 3rd. Ryan Blaney on pole. Josh Berry. Now I'm realizing I forgot to change the number on that paint scheme. It's, of course, the 60 car. Logano and Alex Bowman, the top 5. Corey Heim rounding out the top 10. Ryan Preece up there in P11. He's had some rough luck with mechanical issues lately. Hocevar and Zilish, our 2 teammates outside of the top 20. And Chase Elliott, first race with his new crew chief of Richard Boswell, qualifies in 29th. Oof, let's see how that works out here as we come into this Charlotte Coca-Cola 600 Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening race now, as we're ready to kick things off. Now, as this is really the race that signifies it's getting ready to go time towards that final half of the regular season, and it's, of course, that crunch for all of those bubble drivers that really need to start cleaning things up, as Carson Hocevar did not have a good practice session. He might be a little bit off this weekend in that Reese's 4 car. Zane Smith's happy with me. That's always great to see. Logano sent to the back in that Shell Pennzoil Ford Mustang. He failed pre-race inspection, still seeking win number 1 on the season. We move up 1 spot due to Logano going to the back now, to the outside of the 28 of Bubba Wallace, and the Coke 600 is officially underway now, as Ryan Blaney and Josh Berry lead the field to green on the run into turn number 1. Ryan Blaney been lacking a bit of speed this season overall, looking like maybe they found some in that 2311 23 Toyota Camry this weekend. Now Chase Briscoe looks to my left rear as we exit turn 2. You got the Microsoft Cadillac of Rajah Caruth there just behind us as we head down this back straightaway for the first time. As we head into turn 3, you see stage 1, 34 laps of racing. Keep in mind, like I already said, there's 4 stages. That's what makes this race so special here, as it's a lot of racing, a lot of points up for grabs here now as we're kind of stuck on the top behind that 29 of Priest. Here comes Tyler Reddick to my inside, who's been that standout driver at a struggling Trackhouse Racing. Now he is in the playoff bubble conversation, which is hard to believe because his 2 other teammates are, running outside of the top 30 in points of Chase Purdy and Chandler Smith. Now as we actually are going to take 3 wide on Reddick here into turn 3, you got Bubba Wallace, Zane Smith up here. Zane Smith maybe finally capable of putting a good run together here in that number 12 Hunt Brothers Pizza machine today now as we cross the stripe up into P13. Not a lot of progress made early on, and up front Ryan Blaney and Kyle Larson have driven away from everybody in just 2.5 complete laps here as we're 3 wide on the exit of 2, giving a little bit too much room there. We cross back across the nose of the 1 and we're right to the back of the 28 of Bubba Wallace. We take a 3 wide through the tri-oval. Alex Bowman and I think Chris Bush are both kind of struggling for some speed here early on, and Bowman's going backwards. Maybe not that 17, actually the 17 looks pretty good here, but Bowman for sure, and that Ally Financial 18 definitely having a rough start to this race. We'll clear him pretty easily and take that 11th position now as Kyle Larson officially is in the lead. Look at Tyler Reddick to the inside, blows my doors off and immediately gets alongside Priest and Busher. That number 1 of Tyler Reddick is fast. I think he could have a car capable of potentially winning this race. You know who else is not fast? The 60 of Barry started P2. He is now down to P9 as we look to take that 9th spot from him. Denny Hamlin slowly fading as well as we'll be able to pass him after we pass Barry here into turn 1 on lap 7. That'll put us into the 8th position as Kyle Larson and Ryan Blaney continue to manage this lead on the rest of the field. Overall, I mean, a pretty good start here. Got ourselves into the top 10 before we even hit lap 10 as we're running down now the 45 Busch Light Toyota Camry of Chastain. All 2311 cars in the top 10 with Chastain, Corey Heim, as well as Ryan Blaney. His caution is going to come out for the first time today, and it's going to be a tire down on the 32 of Corey Day. And that brand new Jordan Anderson Racing team is going to be the end of the day for Corey Day, as there will be a DNF for that number 32 Cadillac. Kyle Larson leads the way as everybody would pit for tires and fuel. No adjustments necessary. I was pretty happy with how the car was driving overall as Larson gets ready to lead the field to green, looking for his 3rd win on the season. We're back underway now with still over 20 laps to go. We have 20 laps of fuel and we have 21 laps to go in stage number 1, so it's going to be super tight, and now the question is, will we stay green to the end or will we see another caution as we now look to the inside of the number 1 of Tyler Reddick as we exit turn 2 down this back straightaway. Up here on the conversation, you got Ty Gibbs, Christopher Bell, who won just recently at Road America, and as well Corey Heim and that number 11 to the inside of the 23 of Ryan Blaney, looking to take P2 away from his teammate as we exit turn 4. A lot of Toyota presence up here in the top 5. I mean, 4 cars directly in front of us are Toyotas. We'll split 3 wide to the inside of Gibbs and Bell into turn 1. We'll pass the 54 Sirius XM Camry as we slide into the turn 1 entrance that allows Christopher Bell to fight back and carry that momentum down the back straightaways. I'm going to really lean on his left rear, side draft him, pull him back a little bit into turn 3 to make sure he cannot quite clear us into the corner, as he's still going to be able to carry that momentum nonetheless. But we are making great progress early on in this race, and the success to a strong Coca-Cola 600 race is getting stage 1 down and getting a great result, and we are doing exactly that. But Bell eventually clears me. He had enough momentum, and I felt like I was, fighting a fight that I wasn't going to win at this point now. And here comes Tyler Reddick rolling around the outside as well in that Monster Energy Honda Civic. So we continue to kind of fade in the very early laps of a run as Kyle Larson has completely driven away from everybody with 16 to go in stage 1 as we actually crack down the outside wall into turn 1. They were 3 wide in front of us. We make a mistake. Through goes the 54 of Gibbs. Here comes the 9 of Chase Elliott, who started just barely inside the top 30. He's had horrible qualifying efforts all season long, and here he is into the top 10 as we lean on the back of the 54. Gibbs slides through the tri-oval and he saves it into turn number 1. But Chase Elliott, we talked about Reddick looking strong. Well, he's gotten through into P2. Watch out for that RallyBlueBook.com, number 9 of Elliott, because he's looking just as strong here as it could finally be the day this 9 team gets back on track, as we now are all passing this 11 of Heim, who's fading out of the top 5, now down to P18 as well. In my mirror, I noticed the 48 of Raja Karuth as well coming up into the conversation. So looks like Hendrick Motorsports just in general is very strong tonight. I see the 24 back there as well of William Byron, as we have a little bit over 10 laps to go in stage number 1, 12 to be exact, and we're right to the back of the 20 of Christopher Bell. Elliott now on my inside as we try to kind of pinch him down a little bit, but they just roll through that inside line so well. And here comes that Microsoft 48 of Karuth now. He's going to pass us through 3 and 4 as we drop to P7. Hendrick Motorsports is looking strong, as now he's actually going to pass the 9 as well of Chase Elliott here as we come to officially 10 laps to go. We're fighting to the inside of this number 9, looking to maybe just get P6, P5 before this is over. I feel like all of us are quicker than the 2 Toyotas, but it doesn't matter because a caution comes out. The 60 of Justin Haley blows a tire, and there is the yellow for the number 51 Rick Ware machine. And that's going to be our second DNF in just stage 1. Everybody pits for tires and fuel. We gain 1 spot over the 48 of Karuth, moving us up to P5 for what's going to be a short shootout here in stage number 1. It's going to be just over 5 laps to go. Kyle Larson, Tyler Reddick, your front row with 6 to go. A lot of spacing on the restarts I'm noticing here between rows in this race for some reason now, as Blaney is going to look to the inside of the number 1. Reddick really does not get going there. Off the corner, we're going to have a big run to the back of the 23 of Blaney. Do we push him or do we take it 3 wide? We're going for it. We take it 3 wide down the back straightaway into turn number 3. Larson in that Wawa Cadillac leads. He goes all the way up to the outside as we'll clear the 23. Not clear of the 1, however. We exit turn 4 wheel to wheel for second position, but Tyler Reddick's gonna clear us through the tri-oval. We drop to third. Blaney fights back on the outside, and he's gonna get us down this back straightaway as well. And again, like I said, the short run certainly the weak point of this car. It's kind of about survival for the first 10 laps of a run. I'm kind of just hanging on, and then the final 10 laps of a run, I'm really able to roll the car pretty well. But now to my outside is that 48 of Karuth looking for the 4th position, and not a whole lot I can do at this point. Karuth would as well pass the 23 of Ryan Blaney by the time we came to the final lap of stage number 1, and now he's fighting for second with Tyler Reddick. But you know who's not fighting anybody? The 5 of Kyle Larson. He is long gone as Karuth looks to the inside of the 1 of Reddick into turn 3. He's going to get through to P2. Kyle Larson off of turn 4 down the front straightaway. He's going to take the first in opening stage. Karuth in second, Reddick third, Blaney fourth, myself fifth over Chase Elliott. All of Hendrick Motorsports in the top 10 as well. Byron just inside the top 10 with a very solid effort there in the 9th position. Corey Heim rounds out the top 10, and I'm the only junior motorsports car in the top 10. Zilish not running too bad, and Hocevar having a bit of a rough day. As going into stage 2, we gain 2 spots as the 48 of Karuth has a poor pit stop, and it puts him outside of the top 10 for the beginning of stage 2, which is now underway. 32 laps of racing, and now the 48 we know is very quick here tonight. He is going to have to work his way back forward here now as we're right to the back of the 5 of Kyle Larson. A great run into turn number 1, but unfortunately for me that 5 had us covered, and now we lose a lot of momentum here down the back straightaway off of the exit of turn 2 in front of that 23 of Ryan Blaney now as we dive down into turn number 3. Larson's clear of Reddick now. The question is, through the pit stops there, does Reddick find something to maybe contend with the 5? Because nobody had anything for Kyle Larson in stage 1, but we've seen in these races before, the dominant car sometimes loses its luster a little bit, and we might see that out of the 5 of Larson, as here comes Chase Elliott into my rear view mirror up into the 4th position. I don't think Chase Elliott has a winning car. I think he's got a top 3 car, but I think honestly the fastest car overall, although Kyle Larson dominated stage 1. I mean, that 1 car of Reddick is right there with him right now, but I think the 48 as well. I think the top 4 cars for sure, the 5, the 1, the 48, and the 9, and those 4 guys are definitely the best of the field here tonight, as we're going to get passed by the 9 into turn 1. On the short run, I feel like we have about a 7th place car, maybe 8th place car, but on the long run, I feel like we got about a 5th place car, but we certainly don't have a winning car tonight. But we didn't have a winning car last season at this race, and we won this race, so you just got to stay in it. And we're going to get passed by the 23 of Blaney. We're going to get passed by as well Christopher Bell. Just a few moments later, we drop down to P6, but not really overall concerned. It's only stage 2, of course. In a normal race, this would be the stage before the final stage, and there'd be a bit more of a intensity, but but we know that following stage 2, we still have another 2 stages to go. But as now we come to lap 10, you can see that things that this race or this run was starting to shift into my favor, and just as that happens, caution comes out again. Chase Elliott is staying out, and he's not going to be the only one. We've got multiple drivers, about 9 or so, that are electing to stay on the racetrack while everybody else is going to pit for fuel, including myself with tires as well. I don't get this call because once we go green, we're going to have enough caution laps. We should be able to make it to the end of the stage on fuel by like maybe a lap. This is an interesting call, and it's for the 15 of Ruggiero for the caution. He blows the tire, goes around in that number 15 for Tricon Garage. 9 cars stay out on the track. Chase Elliott leads going into the restart. A very baffling call in Richard Boswell's first race, the top of the 9 pit box. We're back racing. It's going to be 20 laps to go in stage 2, meaning we can make it because we, on a full tank, have 20 laps of fuel. So we can barely make it to the end of this stage, and we might even be sputtering coming across the stripe, but we will be able to make it. And now you have to wonder, the top 9, including Chase Elliott, what are they thinking as we are going to go 3 wide immediately to the inside, and we know this is an opportunity to get some track position. We've just passed everybody on our strategy, Larson, Reddick included, and now we can start slicing through traffic here to the back of the 31 of Brent Cruz. Take him 3 wide. There's Shane Van Gisbergen in that Red Bull Honda for Calling Racing. Chris Buescher having a bit of a rough night in that 17 Fastenal Ford Mustang. You see him just up ahead here as well. A little bit further ahead of him is his teammate of Chase Briscoe, also in the Fastenal colors this weekend now, as we'll go 3 wide to the inside of the 10. Sanchez up there in P2. SVG backs out of it into turn number 3. We're going to clear him into the corner pretty easily. Well, I say that we clipped the apron, but fortunately we still get ahead, and we'll get to the outside of the 17. We'll pass him, and we'll pass Briscoe into turn 1 on lap 15 of this second stage. Now, it's not going to be long until we see Chase Elliott and everybody else on that strategy come into the pits now as we look to the inside of Sanchez. We'll pass him, and just in a matter of time, lap 17, at the conclusion of lap 17, we run down this 9 of Elliott, and now here we go through the tri-oval, wheel to wheel, to the lead. Tyler Reddick currently is going to be in a net P2 as we head into turn number 1, and we know Elliott and those other 8 drivers that stayed out are going to have to come into the pits. And this strategy, the only way that strategy works for them, and it's not even going to work, but it would save them, is if they get a caution within 4 or 5 laps after they make their pit stop, because then it would force everybody on the lead lap to pit, and they would be able to take a wave around and get back on the lead lap, but they would have to, of course, start at the back of the field. That's the only way the strategy works, because if there's no caution, we can all go to the end of the stage, and they will be trapped a lap down because they cannot take the wave around because we'll all be pitting, and they've now pitted. Elliott and everybody else has now made their pit stops. They're 1 lap down at this point. So what happens now as we are got a mirror full of that Monster Energy Honda Civic of Tyler Reddick as we head down this back straightaway. Now crash, and it's Ruggiero again. He's going to bring out another caution. Tire down, and it's right in front of the nose of Chase Elliott, and that's the caution they needed to save themselves this race. Buescher actually went 2 laps down, but he's going to take a wave run to put him back 1 down. Elliott, Van Gisbergen, Cruz, Sanchez, Hill, Briscoe, Gregson, and everybody else on that strategy gets the wave around because all of us lead lap cars pit. So Chase Elliott's race isn't over, but his chance at points is over in stage 2, and he's going to have to spend the entirety of stage 3 trying to recover. A poor call in Richard Boswell's debut race as crew chief, replacing Alan Gustafson, who was fired for making horrific calls over the last 3, 4, 5 races. Now, as we are clear for the lead on the exit of turn 2 here in stage 2, we know that the weakness of this car is the short run. So the question is, can we hang on for now 4 laps when we come back to the line to hang on to the, of course, win of this stage? And Kyle Larson, he's struggled in traffic on that restart. He is not up here in the conversation yet. Reddick right to my back bumper as we cross the stripe. 4 laps to go in stage number 2. We are barely halfway through this race, but Reddick to my inside. It's not even going to be a competition. Easily clear. He'll run away. And now here comes Ryan Blaney, Christopher Bell as well. Blaney's going to look to my left rear in that Advanced Auto Parts Toyota Camry into turn number 3. Not much of a competition there. And here comes as well Bell. And look now, here comes the Red Bull 88. Connor Zilish, our junior motorsports teammate, into the conversation as well. He's been grinding this race out. However, he did not really put much pressure on me. He would actually end up in a battle with William Byron instead. White flag in the air for stage number 2. It's over already. This another caution is out. We'll get P4. Reddick wins the stage, and it's a mechanical issue on what looked like the 29 of Ryan Priest. So I believe his day is going to be over. It looks like it will be, and that's going to be a third retirement of this race. I mean, this has been a caution-filled race. I mean, at this pace, we're going to set a career mode record for cautions as we, of course, get P4 in stage 2. We still got 2 stages to go. We pit, we don't lose or gain anything. We will restart row 2 outside in the 4th position. Tyler Reddick takes stage 2. Tyler Reddick is just defying all odds at Trackhouse this season as stage 3 is underway. We know Trackhouse has lost funding from Honda as they've made their flagship team, of course, Andretti Global, and they have downsized to 3 cars. There, 2 of their drivers, Smith as well as Purdy, are outside of the top 30 in the standings. Meanwhile, Tyler Reddick is up here fighting for a playoff spot, and maybe tonight fighting for a Coca-Cola 600 victory as we head down into turn number 3. And you have to wonder, maybe is he even regretting going to Trackhouse? Because, I mean, it's working out pretty well for him, and it seems like as the season goes on, that team's getting better. So you really have to wonder. I thought, you know, for sure he was going to regret it because they were going to suck. Well, they do suck, but not his cars. So it's a really interesting dynamic. And I can tell you, of course, as we do the storylines, and of course I have to manually edit the driver ratings every season in the off season, I can tell you right now Tyler Reddick is significantly outperforming his driver ratings. So what he is doing is really impressive as we clear the 45 of Chastain. And speaking of Chastain, that's an example of someone that's been underperforming their driver ratings so far this season, as we're right to the back now of Connor Zilish. Are we about to get into another tight battle with this 88 of Zilish? It has not been easy battling our new teammate this season. Of course, we have had some run-ins with Zilish throughout the career mode, especially at road courses. We've ran him over and spun him around in Canada a few seasons ago. And here comes Kyle Larson trying to rebound from the getting caught up in traffic at the end of stage 2, and he is going to actually pass me through 1 and 2 and move himself back up into the top 5 as Tyler Reddick's trying to run away from everybody else. Now Larson continuing to go forward. He's past the 88 of Zilish. We go to the outside of our junior motorsports teammate, and here comes the 48 now of Rajat Karuth, another driver we know that's very, very fast. But so far, the most consistent driver tonight has been that 1 car of Tyler Reddick. He's been able to keep himself up front no matter what the circumstances are, and that's how you win a Coca-Cola 600. I believe Reddick might be the favorite to win this race here as we continue to battle with this 88. Zilish, again, not making it easy as we try to clear him down the back straightaway into 3. Not going to happen. We're going to have to roll this outside one more time. Larson to the inside of Blaney to go through into 2nd. That 5 is recovering. We clear the 88 into turn 1, and now we can try to run down Christopher Bell and Blaney both for 4th and 3rd place here as we're coming up close to halfway in stage 3. We know Chase Elliott as well. He is trying to rebound. He is spending this entirety of this 3rd stage trying to work his way back forward as here comes a 48 to my inside. He clears us through 1 and 2. We drop to P6. Zilish down to P7. William Byron in the number 24 in that relay Cadillac this weekend currently runs in 8th place as he's trying to move his way forward and get his first win of the season. But it's been a pretty consistent start to the season for the 24 of Byron. Karuth clear and into 4th over the number 20 Ream Toyota Camry of Christopher Bell. We're going to carry our momentum to the inside of that number 20 Season 4 Cup Series champion, and we should clear him. Yes, we do. We take 5th into turn number 1. Ryan Blaney's next up as the 48 would pass him, and now we're going to get through on Blaney. It really seems like those 2 Toyotas that have been strong all night, Blaney and Bell, have really started to fall off in the final part of a field run. In that kind of around lap 13, 14, they really start to fade in a run. We clear Ryan Blaney, taking 4th. Larson is closing on the leader of Tyler Reddick now, but we're coming up on finally our first set of proper green flag pit stops here tonight. I jinxed it. Cautions out again. Of course. We keep seeing these cautions tonight, and it was going to be for the 22 of Logano. It's been a rough night for him. He goes around with a tire blowout in 3 and 4, and everybody's going to pit for tires and fuel. We gain 1 spot and move up into P3 behind the 1 of Reddick, the 5 of Kyle Larson, the front row as we get ready to go back racing. Now it's going to be 13 laps to go here in stage number 3 to set the stage for that 4th and final stage. Another 10 stage points up for grabs, 10 more than usual, of course, tonight, as we are going to roll through 1 and 2 very, very well. Could we size up a move on Reddick as we exit turn 2? We'll cross over to the inside, even tap the apron. We're now wheel to wheel with that Monster Energy Honda. Down the back straightaway for the lead here on the Coke 600 again. Into turn 3, we've got a mirror full of the 20 of Christopher Bell, who we know is going to be a lot stronger than us on this short run. We slide up the racetrack, nearly into the wall goes the 1 of Reddick, but he carries that momentum. He's clear for the lead now as Larson knows he's running out of time to go get the stage 3 win. As we dive down into turn number 1, here goes Larson to my outside, rolling that outside lane, or that middle lane, better than I can roll this bottom currently, and Larson's going to go through into P2 as we head down into turn 3, and he was quickly bringing the fight now to Tyler Reddick. Through goes the 48 of Caruth as we continue to fade. Larson to the inside, he will take the lead from Reddick here, but he would very quickly lose it to Reddick, and the 48 of Caruth would join the conversation on lap 27 of 33 in stage 3. Now Caruth going to try and take second position from the number 5. Larson goes from leading down to third, as now we are into the final handful of laps here in stage number 3, and we are holding on over the 23 as a caution comes out again, and it's for the 81 of Jesse Love with a tire down. And now we'll go for a late shootout as Kyle Larson is going to surprise everybody. The 5 of Kyle Larson is going to pit and take tires and take fuel, the only driver to pit, and now we move up into P3, and he is doing this to cycle out to the lead for stage 4, but this call doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I mean, Hendrick Motorsports tonight making some questionable calls. The 9 of Chase Elliott has finally rebounded into the top 5, so pay attention to that Kelly Blue Book. Number 9 is taking him all stage, but he's here. It's 2 laps to go in stage 3. Now to the back again of the 1 of Reddick. We try to cross him over just like we did on the last restart, but the momentum stalls immediately. Now here comes the 48 of Caruth into turn number 3. We're approaching the final lap of this 3rd stage, going into the 4th and final one as we are wheel to wheel with the 48, kind of allowing this one car to get away. White flag in the air for stage 3. Now, do we have anything for the 1 of Reddick? I don't think so. Into turn 1, he covers off the inside very well. We get a little bit lower than him, but now he gets down to that blue line, opens the exit now as we continue wheel to wheel with that Microsoft 48. Caruth carries the momentum down the back straightaway. Blaney up into P4, into 3 and 4 for the final time. Reddick leaves the door open as I clip the apron. We slide up. Here comes the 23 of Blaney and the 24 of Byron as well down the front straightaway. Reddick's going to take stage 2 and stage 3. We lose out on P3 to Blaney from a self-inflicted error there. We'll have to settle for 4th. Byron P5, Elliott in P6, Kyle Larson as well. You do see Zellish gets the final stage point, but Kyle Larson is going to stay out. He was 32nd. Jesse Love also actually going to stay out because he did bring out that caution, so that one makes sense. But Larson is now going to cycle out to the lead of this 4th stage, but I just don't understand that call because I know he only ran 2 laps on tires, but I can assure you those 2 laps that he just ran on those Goodyear tires are going to make a difference here as we're all going to put on fresh tires. He might be restarting in the lead. I don't think he's going to maintain the lead for very long. Larson and Love, the front row, as the 4th and final stage is officially underway. I hope you guys don't mind this long episode. This has been an action-packed Coke 600, and now we're about to determine who's going to be going to victory lane. 33 laps to go. If I had to make a guess right now, it's going to be either the 5, the 1, or the 48, maybe the 9 of Chase Elliott, who's trying to get himself back up here to the conversation. I can tell you who it won't be. That's the 81 of Jesse Love, who's been off the pace tonight, just like his teammate of Alex Bowman, and into turn number 3, he is in the way of myself and Caruth, and now both myself and this 48 are going to be on the back foot to start stage 4, as Tyler Reddick's already passed Kyle Larson for the lead of this race. We're 3 wide through the tri-oval. Gibbs to the inside in that 54. He goes through and takes a couple of positions as we continue to roll up on that Samsara number 81. Here comes now Ross Chastain even to my inside as we drop out of the top 10 for the first time, and I mean since the first stage of this race, and now we're back into the top 10. We passed Jesse Love, and now we get to the inside of the 54 of Gibbs. As you can see, the 48 is clearly outpacing me right now. He is past the 54, he's past the 11 of Heim, and now we're going to really lean on that 54, kind of force him to back out of it. And that's a move you got to be willing to do with 27 to go, where you just kind of sail it off in here and really run the guy up the racetrack and try to get him to back out of it and just concede position. This time Heim, he doesn't lift. He keeps it right there in my right rear. That was close, but eventually we would clear him. And now we move up into P7. Caution again. Yellow brings Larson to the pit lane. He is completely off strategy, and he and Jesse Love are both going to pit, and actually Chastain, Eckes, we've got several drivers pitting, including Van Gisbergen, Purdy, Smith, Gray, Ruggiero. This is a strategy. As you can see, the reason for the caution is actually going to be the 99 of Chandler Smith, but this is going to be interesting because this is going to put them just outside of the field window, which is why I and the majority of the field have not pitted, because we cannot make it from here. We're going to have 22 laps to go. You can only max out at 20 laps on a tank of fuel. I'm sure one of those drivers might really try to stretch it, but I don't see a way of saving that fuel in 20 laps, so I just don't see how that's going to work out. I think what's going to happen here is everybody right here that has stayed out, including myself, we're going to have to pit in about 10 or so laps time, so right around 10 laps to go. We're probably all going to take 4 tires in field because these tires are wearing quite a bit out here tonight. And then, of course, Larson and the other drivers that just pitted, they're going to stay out until the final, 3 or 4 laps, and they'll probably take either no tires or 2 tires and a splash of fuel to try and make up for the difference on time. And then they're going to, of course, allow these two strategies to kind of come together at once. This is going to be intense here as we head down the back straightaway alongside the 11 of Corey Heim, trying to rebound after that poor stage 4 start. We would get to the inside of the 48 now and back into the top 5 as we exit turn 4. Chase Elliott into the now second position behind the 1 of Tyler Reddick. Blaney to the inside of that relay 24 as we head down into turn 1 as well. We're going to try and follow him through the center of the corner as we are back into the top 5 with less than 20 laps to go when this Coca-Cola 600 now clear of the 24 to the back of the 23. We need to try and make quick work on Ryan Blaney. We've got a mirror full of Caruth. We know that 48's super fast. Honestly, I really think he's got the car capable of winning this race, but it's just a race that hasn't quite worked out in his favor. And he is, of course, the first driver out of the playoffs coming into tonight, tied for the final spot in the playoffs. I think Caruth is just looking for a solid effort, and he's had that tonight as we use up that 23, force him to lift on the exit of 4. Into third we go with 16 laps to go. Pit stops not far away now. It's just a matter of a couple of laps until we see drivers starting to pit. Now Caruth to the inside of the 23, he would pass Blaney and run me down very quickly now as we've got a car blowing up in the pits. It looked like a Tricon garage car. It might have been Ruggiero, who's had a miserable night. It could have been Taylor Gray, of course, as well, or Taylor Gray, sorry. As we head into turn 1, the 48 is going to pass us through the corner. Didn't quite have anything to fight him. Caruth is on a roll late in this run. Now pit stops just around the corner. Here comes Reddick and Elliott pitting from the lead as we exit turn 4, and Reddick is going to give up quite a bit of time. Elliott got right to the back of him on the pit entrance. That could be the battle for the win right there between Elliott and Reddick, as we're right on the back of this 48 of Caruth. Elliott's going to come in just behind Reddick. He's run into a car, into his pit box. That's the 51 of Haley, who's been retired from this race. Big problems here potentially developing for the 9 of Chase Elliott, as now moments later Reddick would complete his pit stop. 4 tires he would go, and Elliott's still stationary. Oh my goodness, what's just happened? That is the most horrible luck I've seen for the 9 car. Chase Elliott's race has been ruined in the pit lane as the 48 would pit, and we would come 1 lap later, and Elliott would get back out on the track, but he's lost 2 laps as we'll come into the pits ourselves. Nearly speeding. I got it down to pit speed just in time. It's 4 tires. It's fuel. We're going to go a lap down because Kyle Larson and others have still, of course, not pitted as they are on that different strategy, as we're going to get back onto the racetrack and get ready for what is going to be one heck of a dash to the end of this race. It's going to be 10 laps to go. Where do we cycle out? There's the 9 of Elliott, who's actually a ghost car right now. There's Reddick. That's who we're racing. Tyler Reddick's coming up in my rear view mirror. We have had a great execution in the pit lane. We are now in the conversation if this goes green to win this race. Here comes that Monster Energy number 1. We need to stay in front of Reddick to keep our hopes alive, and we are barely in front of him. We come together through 3 and 4, and now SVG in front of us. Austin Hill as well will go to the outside of both of them. Reddick gets held up. We are going to be net leading this race as it stands currently. Christian Eckes is leading this race, but we know he, Larson, and everybody else that's pitted on that last yellow are going to have to pit. They cannot make it, but they are going to go, of course, as far as they possibly can. Reddick is getting clear of the traffic behind, and now he is going to try and run us down in these closing laps here now as we head down into turn number 1. Lap 132 of 140. Smoke up ahead is from the 5. We've got a yellow. Kyle Larson has blown up down the back straightaway. Smoke pouring out of the back of that number 5. Caution flies, and we're trapped a lap down, but hold on. There is a glimmer of hope. We can take the wave around. Everybody on the lead lap is pitting because they were not going to be able to make it. Larson, I don't know if he's going to be out of the race or not, but we take the wave around. We actually get the free pass. Larson's still in the race. He loses 6 spots. He's down to P10. And everybody in front of us is outside of the 5 is slower than us. We know we can pass these guys. We're back green. And I think it's going to be a race through traffic between myself and Reddick. We've got 4 laps to go, and Christian Eckes leads the Coke 600. I think we have enough time to carve our way through traffic as long as Larson or Reddick doesn't do it before us. Larson's lucky to even still be in this race through 1 and 2. And honestly, this caution, what I thought was going to ruin our race, might be what makes our race. 3 wide down the back straightaway, now to the inside of the 3. There's the 55 of Taylor Gray for Tricon. There's Shane Van Gisbergen. Barry going backwards. We're into the top 5. Chastain, we split the middle nearly 3 wide, getting intense here, coming to 3 laps to go in the Coke 600, and we're now into P4 to the inside of the 45 into turn number 1. Now passing the 81, we're into second. Blaney as well as Larson, Reddick, they're stuck in traffic, and we're running away down this back straightaway to the inside of Christian Eckes. If you're an Eckes fan, I'm sorry I'm breaking your heart. We're passing him for the lead, and suddenly, as we come to 2 laps to go in the Coke 600, we find ourselves in position to go back-to-back Coke 600 wins. Can you believe it? As we head down into turn 3 and 4, approaching the final lap, we have driven away as Larson, Reddick, Blaney are all stuck in traffic as we scrape the outside wall, pushing it to the limit. White flag is in the air. I cannot believe we have suddenly found ourselves in position to win this race at the very end. It is a grind, 140 laps of patience, but as well high intensity, all leads to this final restart in a caution-filled, potentially record-setting amount of cautions tonight in the career mode through 3 and 4 for the final time. We're gonna take it off of turn 4. 3rd win of the season. We'll steal it. Our back-to-back 2nd in a row Coke 600 victory from Charlotte Motor Speedway. Can you believe this race? Unbelievable from start of this race when the green flag dropped to the finish. It was incredible, and now we are a 2-time Coca-Cola 600 winner. Unbelievable. I don't even know what to say. That is absolutely awesome as we get to burn it down again for the 3rd time this season. Sometimes you're in position to win races and you lose them. We've been on that end a lot of times. Sometimes you're not the best car and you find yourself in position to steal the win, and that's what happened tonight. For the 3rd time this season, we pick up a win, and now we know that we've got, of course, the most wins of anybody. Larson's not even in the top 10. I mean, look at this horrible finishing effort, of course, from that 5 of Kyle Larson. Reddick and Larson end up 23rd and 24th. I don't know what in the world went wrong. It had to have been them being stuck on the outside. Elliott, after that pit stop failure, 34th, 1 lap down, another one, and we had a record-breaking 6 DNFs here tonight in this race, as we have a near 100-point lead on our teammate of Connor Zilish following tonight's race, but a lot can still happen. And looking at the playoff grid, going into another race where we expect to properly fight for the win, we could very well win Martinsville. Chase Elliott is 47 points out of the playoffs after Tyler Reddick puts himself in. Wow, what a race. A lot changed right at the end. And now we go into Martinsville short track racing. That's going to be an exciting one. Chase Elliott has some serious work to do. We saw they have speed as usual. And at this point, it just came down to a really unfortunate pit stop error. I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Have a great day.